Okay, today the next value that we will talk about is the value of teamwork. Now, the moment I mention teamwork, all of you will say, yeah, I know, I got it. I understand what teamwork is. Yeah, it's just about cooperating with your people and so on and so forth. Today, for a moment, let's take a little bit deeper cut and examine of all the aspects of teamwork, which are the ones that we are aware of, which are the ones we consciously participate in, and which are the ones that we would like to do better when we get to work. Now, before we get to teamwork, let's go to the source. Now, what is a team? See, if you were to expand on the word team, it would mean together, everyone achieves more. To me, that's really the simplest definition of team. That team allows you to accomplish things that are far greater than what individually you will be capable of. So at Oasis Cube, we believe that performance is a team sport. That means being an outstanding, exceptional professional is good. But to achieve greatness or to achieve sustainability of success, you need to be a part of a great team. Now, what does it mean to be a part of the great team? Now, great teams have some characteristics that set them apart from not so great teams. Great teams are teams that work well together. Now, working well together means everyone watches for everyone else. In a simplest way, it means all for one and one for all. So that means when you get a task to do as a team, we will approach it as if the future of the entire team depended on it. So if you find your fellow team member that they are not fully successful at what their piece of the pie, you are very, very expected to go out of your way to help them win. That way you can also count on to receive support when you want. See, one interesting thing I'll tell you. See, when you study military strategy, you study something called a scout formation. So in a scout formation, the job is that you only watch the other person's back. So you don't have to worry about yourself. So if you are watching your buddy's back and your buddy is watching your back, everybody's got everybody covered. Now, it is very, very difficult to protect yourself from 360 degrees. So teamwork is like that. That you're not only accountable for, let's say if you're a QA engineer, you're not only accountable for the QA, but you need to, while doing the QA, watch out for any blind spot that the development team may have, that they may not have fully understood, they may have overlooked. Or if you're a business analyst and you, while talking to the customer, you realize that there is a particular area of understanding in which the customer is fuzzy, you might want to leave a specific note there to say, listen, this is what I understood, and maybe you want to detail a little further. So working well together requires us to not only do our job well, but also do our job in a way that it makes other people's job easier. Second piece of a good team is a team in which people understand their roles really well, and they play a role. See, in a cricket team, there are bowlers, there are batsmen, there are all-rounders, there are wicket-keeper. So the batsman who plays first down, his role is totally different from the batsman who comes and plays on number 6. So you need to realize that what is your role. Are you the opening batsman and your job is to stabilize the innings? That means your job is to make sure phase 0 gets done very well and the customer's comfort has been developed and we understand enough about it. Or are you the one-down player? That means you have to set the pace, which means you may be the team leader. That you have to set the pace that project is progressing well. At the same time, if you are a playing captain, your role is totally different because you not only have to play, you have to be ahead of the game. You have to be not watching what is happening in the 20th over, but projecting it to what does this mean for the 47th, 48th or the 49th over. You will be surprised. I played cricket for my school team. You would always have a plan for the 48th, 49th and the 50th over while you were still in the 30th. All smart captains will do that. So, in your team, you need to understand your role. You need to discuss this with your team leader and you need to set up expectations. So, that will allow you to gel well together. Now, collaboration is a virtue which is different from cooperation. Cooperation is when you help each other. Collaboration is when you work together on the same piece of task to produce excellence. Cooperation essentially requires you to facilitate but not participate. Collaboration is an active process where you sit down, roll up your sleeves together and go to work jointly on it. Now there is a very, very thin line between too many cooks spoiling the broth versus a devil's advocate improving the quality of the work product. So collaboration can be a very, very powerful tool. And at Oasis Cube, we always collaborate. That's why we have a PMO process where even program managers collaborate with each other and support each other in managing the project managers who will eventually manage the team leaders, who will eventually manage the senior software engineers and software engineers. So the entire environment is of collaborativeness. Now, collaboration only occurs if the team trusts each other. Trust is vital to have the glue of team. Trust is really the glue of team, and trust is the catalyst of performance. The only tricky part about trust is that you have to earn it. You cannot demand it. So it's a function of you sustaining your performance and demonstrating by action that you can be trusted, you're accountable, you can deliver what you promise on, and you have good intention. See, goodwill and will to do good is very, very important. Goodwill means that you have a good intention. Will to do good means you not only have a good intention, but you can also be counted on to put it into practice. So that is a very, very important virtue of trust. Another aspect is transparency. So in the team, if you do not know something, or if you know something really well, speak up. So if you're an expert in the subject, let your team know, listen, I am the expert on this subject, let me lead you in this particular aspect. If you're not strong on a particular subject, speak up and say, well, let's learn together. I do not know this. So can seek out and get help on that. So please, in team, always know when you're going to lead and when you are willing to be led. Both are very, very important. The third aspect so the first we covered was how to work well together. Second is how to collaborate. And third aspect is communicate. Communication is very, very important. See, I wish everybody was psychic and could reach each other's minds. Many of the times, the only times I have experienced that I am not so happy with the performance of the team, and I go back and audit it, and I realize a source of it comes from the fact that I was expecting them to be telepathic, to read what I was thinking, what was in my mind. So now, unfortunately, everybody doesn't have that faculty, right? So you need to be able to efficiently and effectively communicate. So communication is a work in progress. You should always work to improve communication to a level that there is a very high degree of mutuality. For example, I have seen teams when a team leader is presenting something and his eyes look left and right. Somebody on the team already knows, oh, are you looking for a marker? Are you looking for water? Or I've seen teams also where somebody is, and this is an incident I will not easily forget. There was a HR conference that was going on, and there was a gentleman in the front row who was coughing for last almost 5 or 10 minutes, and everybody was looking at why doesn't he get up and leave. Finally, one of the panel members on the stage got up and went back to the back of the room and brought him water. Now that's something anybody could have done. It's a very simple gesture, except for the fact only the person from the stage could see that this person was disabled and could not get up and walk. So while everybody else was busy criticizing people in their mind, it took an act of leadership on us, on behalf of somebody, to go down from the stage and to give them water. No wonder the person who did that went on to become the global head of HR for Coca-Cola company, and the first and the only Indian ever to have accomplished that feat. So what I'm saying is, in team, you should always also know what are the needs of your team members that you can fulfill. And there is no limit to that. Some team members need support in feeling confident about their job because they may be new, like you will be new in the first week. So they need to be felt at home, they need to be welcomed, they need to be taken care of. Some team members need to be challenged, that they are already very good, but if you do not challenge them, they will not upgrade the quality of their game. Some team members need to be supported when things are not going great for them. Also, there is always a low period. There's always a high period. At any given point of time, you need to be able to count on your team to be there for you. That is really at the core of collaborating and communicating well. See, it's very difficult for most people to think themselves as great. Now, it's also very easy if you're narcissist or if you're egotist. You can say, oh, I'm great. I don't need a team to do well. But let me give you a secret to success. Whether you can achieve individual greatness or not, it's not guaranteed. But I can tell you, your odds are a whole lot greater if you're willing to be part of a great team. I always say this, that the Roman Empire was not great because Roman emperors were great. But Roman Empire was great because a governor of Roman Empire was proud to be the governor of Roman Empire and not the king of one village. Which, by the way, for those of you who are Indians, you understand, right? We have kings of a village, we have kings of half a village, more kings sometimes than sovereigns in any city. That's the reason why we've always had that infighting. One last aspect of the team that I want to talk to you about is the concept of competition versus rivalry. See, we have always been taught that there is survival of the fittest, right? The Darwinist philosophy, even though Charles Darwin never said there is survival of the fittest, but it's been agreed like that. Now, competition is good. Competition means you compete with each other with respect and honor, that you challenge to bring the best out of people. So you are creatively and collaboratively competitive. That is what we do at Oasis Cube. We continuously challenge each other to do better. Competition does not mean rivalry. Rivalry is when you gain your happiness from other person's losing, or you're competing to defeat somebody, not competing to push yourself to do better. So while I would encourage you to take competition back into your team, I will also invite you to be custodians of the fact that you do not want this competition to become a substance of rivalry and divide and rule. Another person's mistake or not doing well does not augur well to be a feather in your cap. Okay? Now, before I wind up, I would suggest to you this, that there is no task in Oasis Cube that you can accomplish that you will not be doing inside of a team. There is a concept, we hear all the time, win-win. That means you're supposed to think from a paradigm when you're executing a task that you win as well as the team wins. I will introduce you to the concept of win-win-win, where it's not only you approach the job in your team from a context that you contribute to the team winning overall goals and purposes, you winning in your own role, but also the company at large winning in servicing its customers better, and the customer winning because they get a lot of value out of it. So all the four stakeholders in a transaction in Oasis Cube will experience winning if you bring that, or rather if you generate that inside of your own participation. So think win, 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 that everybody wins. So I invite you to use teamwork as a powerful tool, as a context to think from. Now, we have several ways in which we encourage team leadership. You will find that most of the awards in Oasis Cube are given to teams. So there are always awards for team that has achieved technical mastery, team that has achieved the most breakthrough project, or any team that has implemented the highest innovative project, or the team that has achieved greatest level of customer satisfaction. A lot of the rewards and recognition that you will discover in Oasis Cube will be assessed at team levels. We are one of the companies that has even implemented a appraisal system where a part of your appraisal comes from how well your team did. Let me give you an example of Singapore. I was interviewing for a job in Singapore some time ago. I mean several years ago. And they said this to me, that this is your job, Mr. Stogie. If you do well, you get amount X. If the company does well, you get amount X plus Y. And if the country does well, you get the amount X plus Y plus Z. I said, what does that mean? That means basically I got to do my job, right? And then I will get my bonus. He said, no. Let me repeat for you, Mr. Stogie. If you do well, it's X. It's 10 months salary. If the company does well, that means not only your department, but the company as a whole does well, you get 11 months salary. And if the country does well as a whole, then you get a 12-month salary. It's amazing. I have absolutely never seen such an example of an employer and a country being able to bind all working population into a team that will achieve its bonus if the country does well. No wonder Singapore is one of the most efficient societies. So I want you to consider the same paradigm, that it's not only you need to do well, but the company needs to do well and your customer needs to do well. And that is the time that we would achieve the greatest success of teamwork. Even our customers are a team. We need to work with them to have them win. And also most customers will also collaborate with you that you win and you have the accomplishment on your record of having delivered an outstanding solution. So I will just sign off by saying to you that if there were 4 pillars or if there were 4 legs of the chair on which excellence stands in Oasis Cube, one of the legs is definitely teamwork. So I wish you all success. All of you will eventually be team leaders. You will lead functions, you will lead projects. Some of you will eventually even become CEOs of corporations. But one thing that you will always be tested on is your ability to work well in the team, whether as a member or a leader. So good luck.